Ready? Start. The first question which merits consideration is whether the conclusion recorded by the High Court on the issue of enforceability of agreement dated 12/1/1996 is correct, and respondent number 1's prayer for issue of a direction to LDA to accept the balance price was rightly rejected. It is an admitted position that in response to tender notice dated 20/12/1994, respondent number 1 gave bids for 4 plots including plot number 92A/C and paid 25% of the price offered by it, but did not pay the balance amount, necessitating cancellation of the bid, about which intimation was given by the letter dated 14/6/1995. Respondent number 1 did not challenge the cancellation of bids by availing appropriate legal remedy, but its manager succeeded in convincing the governor of the state to pass an unusual order for handing over possession of the plots and acceptance of the balance amount in 6 monthly installments. The reasons which promoted the government to act in violation of the rules of business and ordain restoration of the plots in favor of respondent number 1, albeit without setting aside the decision of LDA to cancel the bids, are not borne out from the records produced before this court. Therefore, behold that the order passed by the governor and the consequential actions taken by the state government and LDA, including the execution of agreement dated 12/1/1996, did not create an enforceable right in favor of respondent number 1, and the High Court rightly declined to issue a mandamus to LDA to accept the offer made on its behalf for payment of the balance price. It is significant to note that agreement dated 12/1/1996 contained an unequivocal stipulation that if respondent number 1 fails to pay the installments of balance price within the prescribed time limit, then the agreement would become void and LDA will be free to sell the plot to any other person. Admittedly, respondent number 1 did not pay the installments of balance price. Therefore, the agreement stood automatically terminated and LDA become entitled to dispose of the plot by adopting an appropriate mechanism consistent with the doctrine of equality enshrined in Article 14 of the Constitution. It is rather intriguing as to why the functionaries of LDA remained silent for more than 13 years and did not repossess the plot in question. This was perhaps due to the pressure brought by the manager of respondent number 1 from different quarters, administrative as well as political. The next question which requires consideration is whether the High Court could invoke the provisions of the 2009 Act and direct LDA to hand over possession of plot number 92A-3C to respondent number 1 and execute the sale deed on payment of market price at the current rate. In the writ petition filed on behalf of respondent number 1, it was not claimed that in view of the provisions contained in the 2009 Act, LDA is bound to allot plot number 92A/C or allow respondent number 1 to retain the plot for which its bid had been accepted by the competent authority. Therefore, neither the appellants nor the official respondents had the opportunity to controvert such claim, and so that the provisions of the 2009 Act do not provide for allotment/sale of land to the educational institution. The High Court has made a passing reference to the 2009 Act and granted relief to the respondent number 1 only on the ground that it had already deposited 20% of the bid amount way back in 1995, and respondent numbers 4 and 5 had not made an offer to take the plot by paying the current market price. We have carefully gone through the provisions of the 2009 Act and find that they do not even remotely deal with the issue of allotment of land to the educational institutions. Stop.